You're recording. All right. Hi, my name is Justin Kern. I'm the communications officer for the American Red Cross of Wisconsin, and joined here by Wendy Savage. Wendy, say hello.
Hi, everyone.
And we wanted to kind of share a little bit of our kind of what's been going on with Hurricane Laura and the after effects. I think this storm hit, it really packed a punch, but it hasn't been in the headlines as much. And we wanted to share some of the incredible need that is still out there, some of the powerful work that Red Crossers are doing, and from Wendy's perspective, certainly how folks from Wisconsin, including her, are on the ground there, helping people out in tons of ways, even during a pandemic, right? So, Wendy, why don't you share kind of where you're at and a little bit of the work you've been doing the past week or so?
Okay, I am currently in Alexandria. That's where I put my head down at night. It's in northern Louisiana, and I have three northern parishes: Natchitoches, Rapides, and Vernon. So I have a huge geographical area that I'm covering. I'm working with government partners as well as community partners, and just talking with them every day, updating them, and resolving problems.
And it really has been partnerships have been very vital in this, especially as we're kind of navigating this pandemic environment, right? I mean, you've been deployed before, so that seems like a big element of an important part of what we're doing and what we're able to do.
Yeah, it is a big element, and these are many times local people who want to be engaged, and they're associated with another group, so we partner with them. It's very vital. It's just absolutely critical. They provide us so much information and so much manpower, and working together really makes this all work.
And so Wendy is one of about 24 people from Wisconsin who are down there in Louisiana and Texas, have been down there even before the storm hit, and some have even extended their stays. Just a few stats here. That's of about 1,400 total volunteers from the Red Cross that are down on the ground helping. We've delivered since about Friday 127,000 meals and snacks. Delivered approximately 70,000 cleanup supplies to people who are cleaning up the muck and trying to get clean out their homes, that kind of thing, and still providing more than 21,000 people with shelter. So obviously, but from those numbers, you can tell this was no small hurricane. Wendy, I'm going to dial up a couple of pictures here from a PowerPoint. If you wouldn't mind, in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind kind of sharing some of the impact. You obviously, you and I have talked about this before. You've been involved in terms of you've been involved with you were on the ground for Hurricane Harvey. You've been involved in with Florence a few years ago, I believe. And so what is the impact there on the ground after Laura? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And a little bit of kind of the idea of the devastation. And I'll share some of these pictures as you're talking.
Well, what I'm seeing yesterday, I was out in a rural community that contacted us. They needed food and water, cleanup supplies, a lot of downed trees. And in this particular community, I had a little tough time getting there. Debris had not been cleaned up. Is one lane in. The roads here in Louisiana are a little narrower than they are in Wisconsin, and they don't have shoulders. So sometimes navigating that is a little tricky. And there's still, you see a lot of crews on the roadside trying to clean up the big trees that have come down. Power lines, you're going down the road, you see the poles tipped over and the power lines down on the ground. A lot of electrical crews out there. At our sites where we're, delivering cleanup supplies and food, the lines are long, 50 to 75 cars in about, 5 minutes are lining up. And our guys, our distribution people are just getting that out of the truck as soon as they can, and it's flying out. People are doing tremendous work.
And that's, that's the inspiring stuff that we get to be involved with, right? That we get to go down and be part of helping people get back up on their feet, both, right after something hits and in the weeks that follow. thinking also about, the devastation you're seeing, but we're still in the middle of a pandemic. You're wearing a mask right now, right? I mean, we're still
Right.
obviously in the middle of the effects of COVID. How has that been a little bit different from in terms of what Red Cross does and otherwise with this disaster?
Well, it's a sort of a new wrinkle. It's something new that we have to do. Everybody, I'm in an office location here around other folks, so I need to wear a mask. It's mandatory out in the community, even though local residents may not be wearing masks. It's mandatory for us. So, we hear that every morning. It's a reminder to do it. Hand cleaning, sanitizing. It's a new habit that you have to form to make sure that you do it. You want to keep yourself safe. You want to keep everyone else safe. So we're all doing it. And let me tell you, it's really tough when you're outside. We have heat indexes of 104, extremely humid weather, and you see those folks on those trucks unloading. They're totally soaked and they are still wearing those face masks.
Yeah,
We're doing it. We're
yeah.
doing it.
Little bit different weather index than in Merrill, Wisconsin. Is that where you're?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. The distancing part can get very tricky as well when, we're humanitarians. We want to be close to people. We can't hug people anymore, currently. So, I think distancing is tough for us, but we're making it happen. We're
Yeah,
staying safe.
and I think it sounds like a part of the secret weapon, or what we've been able to do a little bit differently, is some of that virtual work. I know we've got around 24 people on the ground like yourself there in Louisiana, Texas, but there's a handful of folks who are doing work completely over the phone, over
Yep.
Teams, just to make sure people get the things they need from the kind of bureaucratic side of things, the mental health side of things.
Right.
But like
Mhm.
you said, they can't be there to give them a hug. They can't be there to do some of that stuff face to face,
Right.
but we're still able to pull it
Mhm.
off.
I've talked
Um,
with some of them, some in health services, and the first thing is, I wish I could be there, but I can't. My boss and his deputy are virtual, but it is still all working. I think in some cases, it's maybe a little bit better because they're there to answer the phone and there's no line, there's no distractions. It seems to be working well.
what is from your perspective of the work you've done and some of the amazing work in bringing food and shelter, cleanup supplies and health and mental health resources? What are some of the things in your work? Is there an anecdote or two that you could share about what you've been able to do, kind of, especially thinking about it's a tough time, but still being able to pull the good work off of helping people?
Hmm. In my line of work, I usually hear from people who, slip between the cracks. So I'm going to hear from a government official, hey, you're not doing it over here. So it's always a good feeling when you can fix that, especially, either if it's either a community or an individual. Yesterday, I was out in Vernon and Rapides and had arranged for delivery of some of 600 meals. So, these folks still don't have power. It's more than 10 days. It's hot. You know, um, some of them have, they're running on generators. They don't have money for gas, so they just need these resources, and they're just so isolated. They're hard to find. So, when you can solve that for our whole community, it feels really good. And I've been able to make some partnerships with some of these community groups, and they're identifying people who are out. They don't even have physical addresses. Trees have fallen on their campers. They've fallen on their cars. They have medical issues. So we're starting to work on some of those things. So that's very satisfying for me. And truly, just to see all the Red Crossers just working so hard, there's no complaints. They just do it. Most of the people here in this office are warehousing, and they're up at 6:30 and they don't put the lights out till 10:30, 11. They're working
Man,
very, very hard.
that is awesome to hear, Wendy. And I can just, on behalf of everyone back here in Wisconsin, thank you for being one of the folks that answered the call. Just wanted to share too, if people are able to support the Red Cross, obviously, what Wendy is sharing, And what we're hearing is that the need is great, and that the Red Cross is on the ground, and your help can immediately translate into help for folks there in Louisiana and Texas. So just a couple of ways you can support us financially. You can go to redcross.org, click on donate, make a donation there. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. It's 733-2767. And you can, one of the most quick ways you can show your support is you can text the word Laura, Laura, to number 90999. And that'll make a $10 donation through your mobile carrier. So this really does apply directly to the assistance and recovery of our neighbors down there in Louisiana and Texas, and helps folks like Wendy do the great work of connecting with some partners there. Any parting words, Wendy, on kind of your experience so far, or kind of maybe re-emphasizing the need on the ground there?
Well, the recovery is just beginning. This is going to go on for a long time. Power's not restored. This is going to be a long operation. So support from people is just so critical to us to be able to help these folks get back on their feet. So please consider a donation. It'll be very much appreciated.
Thank you, Wendy. And we will let you get back to doing the amazing work, even through Labor Day weekend, and wishing you health and safety while you're down there. Keep us posted. We do miss you, but we know you're doing awesome work. So thank you very much, Wendy.
Miss you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.